In this video, I'm going to share with you 8 tricks to cut your heating expenses by up to 70%. At the end, I will also disclose one frugal bonus hack how to cut even more. Let me introduce to you the neighbors Jim and Lindy. Jim spends $300 on heating each month and Lindy only $90. They live in the same building with identical apartments. Heating system, wall insulation, roof insulation, utility provider, and the utility tariff all are the same. This frustrates Jim. How can it be that I am spending more than 3 times as much as Lindy? She clearly knows something that Jim doesn't. But this was not always the case. Last winter, Lindy also spent more than $300 per month on heating. She barely knew how to make ends meet and even had to cut down her food intake to keep the suffering away from her kids. What happened then was life-changing for her. She came across this video about utility savings by the German engineer. She learned about 8 saving ideas for heating and implemented all of them. No technician or a large investment was required. This is the journey she went on, step by step. Number 1. Selective heating. Heat in houses and apartments is often not effectively used. If you spend most of your time during a day in one room, close all doors to neighboring rooms and reduce their temperature setting to a minimum. If you have hallways connecting the rooms, switch the heating off there as well. This was the first action Lindy applied on her journey. The next one, air circulation. No matter the outside temperature, Jim keeps his windows tilted during the day. Also, he likes to have a nice chat with neighbors while keeping the door wide open. Hey George, did you know that Lindy is only paying $90 on heating? What? She must be stealing from someone. The longer a door or a window is open, the more energy is used by the heating system to increase the temperature in your home again. Lindy, on the other hand, opens her windows widely, 2 maximum 3 times a day, and not longer than 5 minutes each time. She doesn't have conversations with doors wide open either. By that, she saves large amounts of energy compared to Jim. There is another way Lindy saved money from heating by applying small changes to her doors and windows. We will get back to that in a minute. 3. Room temperature. Lower the heat settings in your home. This is very basic, but also very effective. Jim likes to spend his time at home wearing his favorite shirts and shorts. To feel comfortable, he has to keep room temperature at 20 degrees. Lindy is very comfortable at 18 degrees. She does that by adding an extra layer of clothes. This simple action saves her around 10% compared to Jim. The lower you set your temperature, the more you will save. 4. Body heat. Have you ever experienced this situation? On a cold winter day, you enjoy a meal together with friends and family at home. Gradually, the room gets so warm that you have to open the windows to cool it down again. This effect is caused by the human metabolism. only 25% of the food will be converted into the energy our body needs for its daily tasks. 75% is converted into heat as a side product of the metabolism. To make use of this effect, instead of opening the windows, lower the heat of your heating system an hour before the guests arrive. Lindy invites her friends over once a week and makes use of this effect. 5. Insulation. Coming back to the additional trick that Lindy applied for her doors and windows. She checked and improved all ceilings that allowed the cold air to get in. This was done in 2 steps. First is the candle test. She lit a candle and held it next to the frames of all doors and windows. To create a better suction effect in her home, she switched on the cooker hood in the kitchen on highest level. If the flame is flickering when you hold it near a door frame or a window frame, this is a clear sign that there is a leak and the seal should be urgently replaced or repaired. And second, after checking for leakages with a candle and replacing some of the seals, she did a more precise test using a thermometer. She measured the same spots as before, but this time wrote it down on a piece of paper. She compared the values and found some big differences. To eliminate these differences, she bought some special air sealing and put it along the ceiling areas of her doors and windows. While Lindy saved a lot of money with this action, Jim is still increasing the temperature at his radiator. Number 6. Curtains and carpets. Jim likes to show off his fancy parquet floor and his wide open view into the landscape. What he still doesn't know is that most of the heat inside his home is escaping through the windows and floors. Guess what Lindy did? She chose some thick curtains to cover the windows and carpets to cover the floor. This way, large amount of heat was contained inside the room and consequently she saved more money. 7. Radiator. Lindy could improve the efficiency of her radiators in 2 simple steps. First, she opened the valve on each radiator once a month to let accumulated air out. By that, the hot water can reach the complete radiator area and improve the heating effectively. Search on YouTube for the phrase "remove radiator airlock." There's plenty of advice on how to do that in less than 5 minutes. Also, she has an old apartment without proper outside insulation. She simply stuck a piece of radiator foil between her radiator and the wall. By that, the energy saving was improved even more. Also for this one, you will find plenty of information on YouTube on how to do it and also at a very low cost. Key in radiator foil or radiator reflector. 8. Use a fan. Jim prefers to spend his time in the corner far away from the heat of the radiator. To feel comfortable, he turns up the heat again. Lindy spends her time in the same distance to the radiator as Jim does. But she learned to use a small fan with low power so she can circulate the warm air from the radiator to every corner of her apartment. As a result, she can keep the temperature setting lower and consequently her heating expense will be smaller. And here is the frugal bonus hack as promised at the beginning of the video. Lindy built a secondary heating system for her living room. She did not even need tools or technical knowledge to do it. There were only 3 materials required, and she had all of them already in her home. These are a clay flower pot. Check out that there is a hole at the bottom. 3 small pieces of metal or stones, and a tea light or a small candle. Put the tea light on the table and the 3 pieces of metal around it. Turn the pot upside down and put it on the metals over the candle. This is how she built herself a nice clay heater for her living room table. And the radiator heat could be reduced even more. While Jim is still suffering from his $300 heating bill, Lindy now saves 2/3 of her previous expenses. Since then, she repaid all of her debt and now can even take the kids to the zoo regularly. Also, she keeps watching the videos of the German engineer to further improve her savings and finances. If you find the video useful, give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you will not miss out on any update. This video was presented to you by the German engineer, your channel for money, saving, efficiency and growth.